Who runs Madrati anymore? What's up, guys? Abe here, and today we have an Infernoble Knight deck profile. I've always wanted to build this deck. Just sucks that the cards are kind of expensive, especially because some of them came out Toon Chaos, and Toon Chaos, some of the cards are pretty expensive in there. But finally, I got to a point where I could buy them, and I finally bought them. And then just, doing some research, checking some other people out on YouTube, making this deck. Kind of want to put just a little bit of my twist on it. Well, not really a twist, but my little wrinkle on it. Especially because Warrior is such a good, not archetype, but a good typing. You can play a lot of stuff in here. And the fact that it revolves around Fire Warrior is pretty cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So, for the first card we're going to be playing is the Infernoble Knight Oliver. And probably like going back to the little intro I was talking about, it's great that they kind of, in a way, retrained Noble Knights, because obviously Noble Knights, it's probably a lot of people who still like them, like the old way. I remember Joe used to play Noble Knights back in the day, just regular with all the equip spells and stuff. And it was pretty cool. Annoying, but cool. But now that we got the Infernoble Knights, because fire, has a really unique playstyle, I would say. And yeah, so for the first card, we went back to the deck profile. We start with the Infernoble Knight Oliver. So it is a level 4 tuner, but usually you would use this effect to discard a Fire Warrior, or from your hand or field, or a equip spell, and you special summon from hand, but it becomes a level 1. So this is usually the one you want to go into, so you can start going into Roland and or Halki Fibrax. And also, while it's an equip card, your opponent cannot target the equipped monster with card effects. You may not use that effect too often, like use its own effect to equip it to something. But usually you use like Charles or something to equip it, and then we're getting the protection from there. For the next card we play is triple Infernoble Knight Renowned. So this one is, if you control a Fire Warrior monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if summoned in the way, it's treated as a tuner, so that way you have another tuner and it's already level 1. And its second effect is, if this card special summoned, you can target one of your Fire Warrior monsters or one of your equipped spells that is banished or in your grave, and you add it back to your hand. You can only use the effect once per turn. So that way, you can get back your whatever, either it's your Durandal, or let's say you use the Souls effect already, you get back like a DDR or Living Fossil. And yeah, just a really good card, just to recur your stuff back. For the next card we play is, I played double Ogier. The only reason why I play Ogier is because besides the connector that we do play in the deck, and Armageddon, I play Armageddon Knight, okay. But besides Ogier and Armageddon Knight and the Neospace connector, we don't have too many level 4s. Now we may not go into level 5s as much, except Roland. And if you do want to play the new level 5 Synchro, he's pretty good. He's pretty cool too. I think he's more of like not your first turn, but like your second turn. Like if you need to go into a 5, he's a pretty good card to use. But besides the point, we don't have too many level 4s in the deck, so usually we would use him or Armageddon Knight to go into when we have a level 1 tuner like Renowned, if we summon it as effect, or Oliver. You can then go into a level 5, and also Ogier is just good because it dumps whatever you need, a Fire Warrior or equip spell to the grave. So like you can, like, let's say you can send it and then like use like their effects to summon themselves or something. Yeah, Ogier, I do see a lot of profiles. I only play one of it, but I just like playing 2 just because even if you don't use the dump effect, it's just a level 4. You just need for like your tuners and stuff. And yeah, just a good card, and also it has the effective while this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster can be destroyed by card effects, so that kind of helps out as well. Yeah, like I said, if you don't want to play double Ogier, I would suggest maybe like, I don't know, maybe some kind of power spell like Harpy's Feather Duster or something, which I still can't find. But anyways, but yeah, if you don't want to play double Ogier, like say you can use like a power spell or something that maybe that can help out with the deck. Some kind of one of you can play. But yeah, so we play double Ogier. And then for the next card we play is, well, I'll put these together. Triple Connector and Dolphin, because this just goes into a free E-Sold. Not a free E-Sold, but basically into E-Sold really easily. And if you really need to, you can use Aqua Dolphin's effect to, you know, get some hand knowledge. And that way you can get, if you want to, you can rip something out of their hand. But yeah, these cards are just really good. Like I said, you just really need to get into that E-Sold to start the plays. So Neospace Connector helps with that. Now, when I first made this deck, I didn't have the red layers because, like I said, I was trying to, you know, do something different. But in testing and just talking and and doing research and stuff, you really do need the red layer. Red layer just helps out so much in this deck, just because it's when you start off, you have that free special summon, and also it can like get itself back or whatever. And yeah, it's just a really good card, and it's a fire warrior, so that's all you need it for. For the next card we play triple Fire Flint Lady. She, like I said, she's just a nut, just like red layer. Now, be a red layer. If it's sent to the graveyard, attract a super quant monster in your graveyard, except it's spell summon. Okay, can't spell summon it. But you can always add this back to your hand when it's normal. Like if you already have one in the grave, you can always add it back with red layer. But yeah, Fire Flint Lady is just going back to Fire Flint Lady. She's just like red layer. You just need that extender as long as you have a warrior out on the field. And if, let's say, you really need to get like a tuner out on the field, you can use her effect to tribute yourself, and you summon a level 4 or lower warrior monster from your hand. Or you send this card from the field to the graveyard, but you know. But yeah, you just need those extenders just to get into E-Sold and stuff. And then for the next card we play is double Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. This card, pretty good. That's all I gotta say. Now, like in a lot of more competitive versions of this deck, you probably only see one of, because usually you're not going to summon it on your first turn unless you're able to equip something. And usually you kind of want to go, not go second, but like you want to be able to summon this, like, you know, following your opponent's turn, your turn, you just summon this really easily by banishing an equip spell from your field or graveyard. Spell summon this, and then you can, like, you know, get rid of one of your opponent's monsters using this effect. But in this version, I like playing 2 just because, like, if you really don't have anything else going, he's just a good card to sit on. And then you can, like, if you really want to, you can, like, let's say if you have like Ogier and Oliver in the grave, you can like equip, you know, use their effects to equip themselves to Gearfried, so it just gets like extra protection. But yeah, Gearfried, I just like playing 2 because, let's say after you go through all your players and you're kind of in that grind game, Gearfried is that monster that can just be really annoying to get around. But yeah, so we play double of him. Now we go on to a little bit of a Dark Warrior package. Very little. We play 1 Armageddon Knight and double Malicious. So the only reason why we play this is because besides Renown, if you use its own effect, and Oliver being your either level 4 or level 1 tuner, depending how you summon it, we do have Gamma in the deck as a tuner for a target for Hauki Firebrax, or really our only target for Hauki Firebrax. And since we do play the Gamma is a level 2 tuner, so if you summon E-Soul, you bring out Armageddon Knight after you send your 4, you could always banish, you know, you then able, if you're able to, you summon Hauki Firebrax, you summon out the Gamma from deck, you have a level 2, and then you could always, once he gets this Mally in the grave, you banish a Mally, summon a Mally, and you can get a free, not a free, but you get a Savage Dragon. You can summon a Savage Dragon or any level 8 that you would like to play in your extra deck. I have Savage Dragon, I think, as my only level 8. But yeah, so that's why we play this, just because Armageddon Knight can help the Mally. It sucks when you draw the Mally, but you can always discard it with some certain card effects like DDR or something. But yeah, there's just like the little wrinkle I like to play in here, just because you can, like I said, you summon out the Gamma, it's level 2, add the Mally, it's a level 6, easy level 8. And then for the hand traps, the only hand traps we play is the triple Gamma, 1 driver. Like I said, Gamma, after we use its first effect, I mean, it's kind of dead, especially because if you can't like link off with it or something, or not link off with it, but if you can't like somehow get driver back, it's kind of dead at that point. So then the other gammas just become the target for the Halki 5X. But if you don't like Driver, you can play something else if you like. If you do want to play Ash, I mean, Ash is still a tuner, so you can still summon it off of Halki 5X. But I feel like the levels won't match, well, for the way I like to play it. So that's why we play Gamma, because it's a level 2 tuner. Now, we go on to the spells. No traps. We don't have any traps in this deck. So for spells, we play Triple Heritage because it searches whatever you need. Usually you want to go into a Noble Knight monster, or you can add your Durandal. The second effect is if your Noble Knight monster equipped with a Noble Arms card is destroyed by battle sent to the graveyard, while this card in the graveyard, can add this card to your hand. So like, let's say your Charles dies or something, or let's say you have to summon Roland or something and you can't really go from there, you can bring it back after it dies, as long as you have something equipped to it. Yeah, Heritage, we're just going to use it just to search. And for the only Infernoble Arms card we do play is Triple Durandal. Durandal is great because you can search out whatever you need. It doesn't have to be like especially equipped to a Noble Knight, so that's probably the good thing about Durandal too. You can equip it to like Isolde or whatever extenders you play, or like Red Layer or Fire Flint if you really need to at that point. But yeah, Durandal is really cool just because you get to add, it gets destroyed. But let's say like you equip this to your Charles and your end, your end combo, and let's say Charles does die, if your opponent has to do all that to get around it, and you get to summon back something with Durandal. So Durandal's really good card. For the generic equips we play double DDR and double Living Fossil. Now when I first made this deck, like I said, I wanted to add the bamboo cards to see if that would kind of help, but it didn't really work out as much as I wanted to. So I decided just to scrap the bamboo cards and just add, I had one of each of these, but after we took out the bamboo card and stuff, made more space for like the Armageddon Knight and stuff, and then bumped this up to 2, because once you do send it with Isolde, even if you have like, let's say you end up drawing one of these in your hand, you can still use Isolde's effect to send with its effect to summon out the monster from deck, and also it's just a great extender as well. Yeah, so that's why we bumped it up to 2, and it's just the really good extenders. And then for the last equip, obviously Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. It's that one for a reason, and I see why it's that one for a reason. And it's just a really good card. Now for the one-ofs, I just play one Rhoda, Monster Reborn, Called by. You want your stuff to go through, Monster Reborn to extend, and Rhoda because everything in the deck is warrior. Obviously, you're going to add your level 4 lower. You can't just add anything. But Rhoda is just great for any warrior deck. You got to play Rhoda. Now, we go on to the extra deck. We play one Roland. So usually this is going to be your first sinker you're going to go into. If you don't already go into Savage Dragon at that point. But yeah, this card is just good because you go into it and then you activate its effect. You get to search during the end phase. And then also it has that quick effect where you can maybe during your opponent's turn you can equip it to like maybe your Charles, and then you get to pop a card. So I didn't really know that about this card. I thought it was a once per turn, but then I read it and I was like, oh, it's a quick effect instead. So that makes it even more broken. It makes Charles better, I should say. But yeah, Oliver, play at least one. And also maybe like another suggestion, if you don't, let me go with this. We play one Desert Locust. So the only reason why we play Desert Locust is because after you summon like your Charles and like your Savage Dragon, you're gonna have your Halki 5X out there. And I decided that once it becomes your opponent's turn, once it's their main phase, you can use maybe if like they search some stuff, like you kind of want to wait till maybe the right moment, you can use Halki 5X effect. You use effect. And you summon Locust, and then Locust, whoever the turn player is, they discard a card. So maybe you can get rid of one of their key cards in their hand. So that's why we play the Desert Locust. If you don't want to play the Desert Locust, you can always add, not a second Roland, but the other level 5, the Oliver. I didn't even know that card came out, and I somehow missed it. But yeah, it's a good card, like especially once it's like your second turn and you kind of have to like push a little bit. That card's really good because it can like pop stuff. So if you don't want to play the Desert Locust, you can play the not Roland but the Oliver guy. I think he's like an ultra. But yeah, like I said, if you do want to do that with the Hockey Firebacks, I just added the Locust just because you don't want your Hockey Firebacks to just sit out there for nothing. So we might as well make it into rip a card out of your opponent's hand. So we play the 1 Desert Locust. For the level 8, I play 1 Savage Dragon. He's just the best level 8 synchro. Yeah, why not play Savage Dragon? For your level 9s, we play 1 Emperor Charles and 1 Trish. Trish, you really don't go into too much, because usually you can summon out Charles with just 2 monsters. Obviously, Trish, you need 3 monsters. So it just depends how the game goes. If you really have, like, if you can really only summon Trish, it's available to you. But if you really don't want to play the Trish, you can add maybe even a second Charles if you like, or like I said, like another Roland or the Oliver card, like I was talking about. But it's there just as an option. Even in my time to test and play this and learn this deck a little bit more, I don't go into Trish that much, but I just like having it as an option. If I have to not hand loop my opponent, but at least rip a card out of their hand. But yeah, so like I said, if you want to play Trish, you can. If not, take it out if you like, put something else. But like I said, I just like having that option. And then Charles, I didn't really know how good Charles was until I really started playing this deck. And yeah, just having like the combo with Rolling where you can quick effect, equip itself to Charles, and Charles pops a card. It's pretty good, and also having all that protection on it after you use his effect, you equip stuff from it from the graveyard and from the deck. Yeah, Charles is just a really good card. So if you really don't want to play the Trish, you can play the second Charles just to have that backup in case for like the grind game. But yeah, Charles, like I said, very underappreciated card, I would say. For the rank 4s, I only play 1, and that's Abyss Dweller. So there will be a 2-minute combo on this. Usually I would have, I think in a 2-minute combo I had a Savage, Charles, and then the Hulk. And the Hulk, you banish it, you use effect on your opponent's main phase, you banish it, and then you summon the Locust. But there is another line of play where instead of having the Savage Dragon out, you can have Dweller out with the Charles, and then the Hulk. So it just depends which way you're going with the combo, and like if you can summon out Roland or not. If you can't summon Roland out, then you can just go into a rank 4. And Dweller, I think, is one of the best rank 4s in the game. For links, we play double Isolde because Isolde is really good for any warrior deck. And you got to play 2. I feel like you got to play 2 just because I'd say if they do hit the first one, you still have the second one just in case. And she's just really good. I feel like you got to play 2. You don't have to if you're trying to be a little more aggressive. Like if you want to make space for other stuff. But I just like having 2 just because I know, let's say if I already go first and I do my combo and my opponent can't really do anything, or let's say they blow me out and they get rid of all my cards, then you do have that Isolde for the next turn, so then you can go into it and you can search whatever you need. You can't summon it and whatnot with its first effect, but at least you can get something out for the next turn. So I just like having 2, just gives me the peace of mind. And then for like generic links, 1 IP, because you can't summon Apollosa. You can have like Apollosa and like maybe a Synchro out there. So it just depends, like so on the line of play you're going with. She's just good just because it can protect your Apollosa, or let's say Boral Sword even if you play that. Well, I do. But 1 Hockey Firebacks because Hockey Firebacks, he should be banned. And then for generics, you play 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, 1 Access Code because let's say you're going second and you're trying to game your opponent. And instead of doing all the other stuff, you could always go into these guys and you start popping stuff, and then Access Code can end games and just start popping other stuff. 1 Boral Sword and 1 Apollosa, like I said. If you don't have to go into the intriguing combo and stuff, you can always just go into Boral Sword and do a lot of damage. And then Apollosa is just more for that first turn. Maybe you can have like Apollosa and like a Savage out there. And yeah, that's why I play the 1 Apollosa. And also I have this gold ring, it looks really nice. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile, you guys. Let me know down in the comments how you like to play your Infernoble Knight deck profile. I would say for this deck, I don't want to say it's you have to have a high IQ, but you definitely got to think about what you're doing because you can mess up. And me being new to the deck, I don't like messing up. I try not to mess up. But you know, any pointers would help. If you guys can put it down in the comment section down below. I do, like I said, I do like playing this deck. It's not a deck that I feel like, you know, is just like a one time thing. It's a really interesting deck, and I do like the way they play. And maybe you'll see like maybe some kind of duels in the future. So like I said, please comment down below what you think about this Infernoble Knight deck profile. What are your spicy techs in your Infernoble Knight deck profile? No pun intended. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.